Hey everyone, today is Thursday, December 19th, and I thought I would film a homeschool day in the life today and show you what a day during the last week before Christmas break looks like in our homeschool. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around. We made these little ornaments the other day, and so they're finally dry, and we were putting some ribbon in, but I feel like we need slightly thinner ribbon, but anyway, they look kind of cute. So we are getting ready to get started with our group work. Ignore my kids, they're attacking each other. And then we'll get into our independent work. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started probably with our math. A plural noun.
Pencils.
A noun.
Ava. I don't think she means a proper noun.
Verb.
Pooping.
Noun.
What?
Didn't say proper noun. Occupation.
Garbage man.
Part of the body. Cindy Lou and who? When Cindy Lou Who needs help, she calls up her best pencils and meets them in a secret location, hidden in the center of an Ava. They're going to poop Santa and convince him to deliver the most important Christmas present of all. Done.
I was about to complete it before you.
Okay, we just finished their multiplication fluency, and now we are moving on to grammar voyage. All right, before we turn our attention to level 2 parts of a sentence, let us highlight a few of the important punctuation rules that apply specifically to the parts of speech. All right, we finished grammar voyage, and now we're just going to do three little cookie math problems on our whiteboards, and then we will move on to our close read. So if you can fit 15 cookies on a pan, how many pans would it take to make a full batch? Now remember, a full batch has how many cookies in it?
60.
60. So what kind of problem could you set up?
15 times something equals 60.
You could do it that way, but could you flip that around, which would make more sense, and say 60
Divided by
15. So write your division problem. Okay, so we finished our cookie math, and we are moving on to our close reading. We finished doing, we finished doing Christmas Carol. And so now we are moving on to the Gift of the Magi. So we will be on day 1 of the Gift of the Magi. And this little pack that we got on Teachers Pay Teachers takes you through each step of doing the close reading. So for today, we will be following these directions for day 1. So we're going to go ahead and look at the first read questions. And then I believe for day 1, let's see. Yeah, they read through the text on their own. So we're going to go ahead and do that. They're going to read through the text on their own after looking at the questions, and they're going to go ahead and annotate, and then they will discuss. We'll discuss it as a group to make sure everyone understood what they read. So that's what we're going to do right now.
Predominate is a verb that refers to the act of being the stronger or leading element or force.
I saw a gray cat walking a gray fence in a gray backyard.
Okay, what does that tell you?
Well, the time, it said that this is before Christmas, the day before Christmas.
Okay.
So
Good.
Christmas Eve. So we know, so in time and space, we know the time, but not the space.
Okay. Okay, so we finished our group book. That took us about 45 minutes, and now we're moving on to individual work. Ava and I are going to do her Math with Confidence. She's on her unit wrap-up today for Unit 7, and there is a, what's the word? There is a little activity, an enrichment activity that we're going to do, and we have a little section from What's the Point of Math to read as well, and then we're going to work on this hot cocoa activity, and then she's going to do the unit wrap-up, which is 2 pages, and Wyatt is moving on to his science, and then he'll do history as well. Pages 50 to 59 in What's the Point of Math? So let's go ahead and read this, and then we will talk about the enrichment. What's that?
You might not think your shower curtain is nutritious, but mold thinks it's good food.
So you're reading about if it's safe to eat moldy food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we read the What's the Point of Math, and now we're going to do this hot cocoa activity. So please don't do that. And I decided if we're going to do it, we're going to go ahead and make them as gifts. But basically, they are using their math to divide this recipe in 4, so they can make 4 jars. And so we're going to go ahead and make them as gifts. We've got our ingredients here. And I pulled out, I had bought these in the Target dollar spot to put with a different gift, but I actually don't need it for that gift. So I thought this would be really cute to open this up and put one with each of the jars. And then I just looked on my sewing cart and grabbed some fabric that we could like put over the lids and some ribbon. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do. First, we're going to go ahead and she's going to do the math of this so she knows what she has to measure into each jar. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so she finished all her math for this and we wrote over here, but then it prompted a discussion on if she needs 1 1/8 of a cup. We don't have an 1/8 of a cup measure, and so how can we solve that problem? We talked about that 4 tablespoons equals 1/4 cup, and so we did some more math and then wrote some alternatives. So instead of 1 1/8 cup, we can do 1 cup and 2 tablespoons, and so on. So she's got all the math figured out. She's getting her measuring utensils, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting these together. You can take them over there. Okay, so she's putting together these, and my son is down there working on his history. He finished his science. We've had some snacks. So that's what's going on here. Apparently I got rid of all my funnels because we never use them, and now we could really use one. Isn't that the way it happens? You just make the top part a little bigger. Finish these, and we have some marshmallows to go with them, and we're drinking some and apparently adding extra marshmallows. She's doing her unit wrap up, and Wyatt is doing his notebooking stuff for his history. Okay, Ava finished her unit wrap up, which I need to go through and check right now, and she did her math UC. Now she is doing her science down there. Please ignore our messy table. And then Wyatt has moved on to his math. Okay, so I finished checking Ava's math, and I have a couple corrections to go over with her when she's done with her science. Wyatt's still working on math, and I'm going to paint my nails because every time they've chipped recently, I've just painted over them again, and they were so thick yesterday. It was gross. So I scraped it all off, but I didn't use nail polish remover, so they look really bad right now. Anyway, I'm going to clean them up and paint them while the kids are doing their work. All right, I went over Wyatt's math corrections with him. He's moving on to Fix It Grammar, and he's eating his lunch. Ava is eating her lunch and still doing science. Oh, and I finished my nails, in case you were wondering. And now I'm eating lunch too. All right, Wyatt has moved on to health. He just finished his vocabulary. Ava is done with science and has moved on to her Fix It Grammar. Okay. Okay, I am doing history with my daughter, and my son is reading his novel from his Hearth and Story literature. So that's what's going on right now. Okay, Wyatt finished his Hearth and Story. He finished this book today, and then he answered questions about it. And so the last thing he has is cooking, which we're doing baking today. He has to bake his cookies for our cookie swap, so he chose that he wanted to do Linzer cookies. This is the recipe I printed from the internet. So I just kind of highlighted each step for him and wrote the step number kind of beside it, just to help him maybe do this almost all independently. We'll see. Probably I'm gonna have to help him when we get to the cookie cutter, like the rolling out and the cookie cutters, but we'll see. So anyway, he's going to get started on this. Ava and I are still working on history right now, and then she'll have lightning lit and sewing. Oh, she already did she needed to study for her Latin test. That's part of her learning how to learn project that, oops, that's not the right one, that she's working on, so I can cross that off. So that's where we are. This school day has already gone way too long, so I'm hoping we finish soon. Okay, I am doing lightning literature with my daughter, and then my son over there working on his cookies. So that's what we're doing right now.
Dormouse at the tea party.
Oh, yeah.
And now he keeps falling asleep. And I also
Creative writing. The most important part of rewriting, the most important part of writing is rewriting. When you write a paper, you should always assume that your first time is a rough draft that you will rewrite at least once, preferably more. Okay, so we are pretty much done for today. Wyatt made his cookie dough. It's in the refrigerator right now because it has to chill. So in a little while we will finish his cookies, but that's fine. We're done enough on that. We have done school for about 6 hours today, so we're done. And all that Ava had left was her sewing, which she asked if she could either do later or tomorrow, and I am fine with that because that's an elective, that's something extra, and our brains need to be done. So let's see, Wyatt finished that. And this is pretty much done, but we'll finish.
A massive brain implosion.
A brain implosion, oh my goodness. So that is what our school day looked like. I would say 5 hours has become the norm lately for what it takes us to get through a full school day for a 7th grader and a 4th grader. Sometimes it's a 4-hour day, but especially if we have this much group work, it definitely pushes 5 hours. So, and that also, in that 5 hours, they ate lunch. So anyway, that was a little peek into our day. My brain is done. Like, I'm mentally done, and I need to go be by myself for a while. So I'm probably gonna go pick up my library holds and just have a little bit of me time outside of the house, and then come back and deal with these cookies and a bunch of holiday baking and stuff that I still need to do, which is making me feel a little overwhelmed right now. But anyway, that's what's on our agenda for the rest of today. But that was our school day. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know down below.